Now it's time for Inspirational Women and my guest, Kyla Cain, the education curator at the Cougar Mountain Zoo in Issaquah. So, Kyla is very knowledgeable about all the residents at the zoo. And with December just around the corner and the Issaquah Reindeer Festival, Kyla is joining us to give more insights about these magical creatures, the reindeer, along with details and making plans to attend the Reindeer Festival. Kyla Cain, it's so great to have you join us today.
Good morning, Kate. It's so great to be back on your show.
I agree. You know, this is now our second year in a row that we've been able to connect, and it's for a very special reason because this is like that exciting time of the year and a very exciting time at Cougar Mountain Zoo because what we're anticipating is
The Issaquah Reindeer Festival, our largest event and fundraiser of the year.
And all of that is so critically important. The biggest event, so that's really a major magnet for all of us. And the fundraiser part is really critical as well. And we're going to get into that at some point. But let's focus on the festival fun part of it and what it means for us as community and as families in this area.
Yeah, so the Issaquah Reindeer Festival has grown each and every year that we've been doing it, which is very exciting. And not only that, it's become an event in the area that really brings the community together. We have fun theming all around the zoo. We have music going. We've got Santa there for photos. And most importantly, we've got special access up through the middle walkway to our reindeer, so guests can get an even closer look at those beautiful animals.
So as you say that, in general, they're not as easily accessible?
So we still have a great viewing platform for them, but to make it more fun, go on with the theme of the Reindeer Festival, we give that walkway a different access so that folks can get a bit closer. We can't touch or anything like that, but we can still get within a few feet of these magnificent animals, whereas year-round, we have a viewing platform where guests can enjoy them from, and they'll still come down and say hello, but it's just a little bit of a different, more unique experience.
And part of that has to do with, I think, probably the size, the bulk of the animal, right?
Yeah. So they have a really big yard, which they're able to roam at any given time. But we do have our apple treats that we have at the zoo that guests are welcome to purchase and toss treats to some of the animals and even hand feed the alpaca. But with the reindeer, they're able to toss, and, those deer, they do love to come down their ruminants. So they are constantly wanting to kind of eat and graze throughout the day. So they love coming down to say hello for those apple treats. But, in that space, there's only so much room. And then this way you get to see the males on the one side and the females on the other, since we do have them separated during the rut.
Okay, because I know there have been babies in past year. What's the status with any baby reindeer this year?
Yes, we do have Rudolph at the zoo, our youngest reindeer, about 9 months old now, born last spring. And then we have Rudolph's best friend, Olive, the other reindeer. She is also a young reindeer, born just a week after him.
Oh, so they're almost like twins.
Pretty darn close. Different moms, though.
Yes, so twins of different moms. Okay, we'll let that be. Now, are they able to come and walk around and be petted, or is that not okay?
Yeah, we don't have free contact with guests in our reindeer for safety purposes for the animals and for the guests, because we do have those glorious antlers growing off of those heads. And the reindeer aren't always the most spatially aware, and all it takes for them is to, turn their head saying, "What apples do you have for me?" And, they could accidentally hit someone. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we don't have guests in the same space as the reindeer, but they can get quite close and are able to toss the treats rather than hand feeding.
Right. And with the babies, then they're not able to come out of the enclosure either to be a little closer to at least the younger guests?
That is correct. They are not able, they stay with mom and dads respectively on the different sides, but they do come up nice and close, so you still get to see them very nearby. But yeah, we don't have them coming into different spaces.
Okay. So you said, though, they stay with mom or dad. So either of the parents actually does some caretaking of the babies?
Yeah, so for the female, likes to stay around mom still. And for Rudolph, the male, he hangs out on dad's side, but his favorite person to hang out with is actually his uncle Raylan, which is one of our other male reindeer.
So interesting that that would be the case, like with Rudolph making that choice. Is there any conjecture on why that would be, or it's just, personalities?
Yeah, it's mostly a lot of personalities. We always call Raylan the biggest caregiver on the male side. He loves to hang out and just kind of be that uncle, fill that dad role. Pretty cute.
Oh, that is cute. And what about Olive with her mom? Are they? Is it obvious that there's a bond, a connection, and mom really takes good care of her?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they are, it's a whole herd, so everyone kind of participates. But you definitely see that bond there with baby and mom, where she tends to hang out with mom the most, but she's getting a lot more adventurous and independent as well.
As she becomes closer to her first year birthday.
Yeah, indeed.
So, thinking about birthday, and then we'll get to the festival again. But with a birthday, are those celebrated? Do they get something? Do they get a type of special reindeer cake?
Oh, yeah. So all of our animals, we have their birthdays and all that information recorded. So we make sure we give them special little treats depending on, what diet they can have to make sure it's a little bit extra special and fun on each of those special days for our animals.
And so for the reindeer, you were mentioning they love apple treats. Would they get something like an apple cake or just a lot more apples?
Yeah, we'll do different fun things. So we might give them more apples, or we might chop the apples up. We call it apple fireworks, where we cut them in a special way, toss them up into the air, and then they kind of explode on the ground, and the reindeer go running after them, and they have a lot of fun doing that. But we'll also take things like hay that they like and arrange it in different and fun ways for them to interact with, or we'll get their special favorite toy out because reindeer do love to play. We have balls that they like to kick around. We've hit up Seattle Sounders FC to say they've got the next, midfielder on their hands with some of our reindeer. But we'll do different things like that. So it just kind of depends on the personality and what each reindeer likes because they all are pretty individual.
That is so fascinating. And I imagine, in the time that you've been at the zoo, and I think I was kind of calculating, is this 7 years now that you've been?
Yeah, this will actually be 6. So my 7th reindeer festival, I believe. And then I'm coming up on my 6-year anniversary.
Oh, see, so, well, happy anniversary and congratulations.
Oh,
and so no doubt over the course of these years, you've really seen those personalities play out and see how they've evolved.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I've gotten to see quite a few of our animals, be born or come here at various ages, and then gotten to see how they live and grow in our zoo, which has been very cool. And I've been lucky enough to do that with quite a few of our reindeer.
And they do have personalities where they have friendships. They bond with different reindeer more than others. And would they ever have kind of like, no, I don't want to be friends with you, or, they won't do anything aggressive, but they just don't spend time together?
Yeah, they have some other reindeer that they're kind of indifferent to, I would say. They definitely have some of them have the reindeer that they're closer to, like Elsa and Scarlet, love to spend time together, 2 of our female reindeer. But for the most part, they're all pretty good chums. Since they are herd animals, they like to kind of stick together, which is pretty cool.
And how large is the herd now?
We have 16 Siberian reindeer currently, so Santa's A team and B team.
Wow. That is great. And of course, the 2 babies, the 9-month-olds, Rudolph and Olive, they're included in that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Well, that is an amazing treat for anyone, all of us, as we come to the Reindeer Festival that's running throughout the whole month of December. And I mean, that's just essentially days away.
Yeah, yep, we're coming up close to it. So we've got a lot of preparation that we're doing at the zoo to make sure everything is nice and ready for Santa's big arrival, because he will be at the zoo from December 1st to the 23rd from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the festival will continue after the holidays from the 26th to the 30th. But Santa won't be there at that time, but we'll still be doing some festive fun things around the zoo.
Exactly. Do you think the animals sense a shift, a change because this is such a big celebration?
Oh, the reindeer definitely do. They know that they're about to get spoiled with apple trees. And I would like to say, too, they do eat their reindeer diet. They eat their breakfast and dinner as well, but those apples are a fun snack for them throughout the day.
Well, since you mentioned breakfast and dinner, what is it that is different about that?
Yeah, so they have a specially formulated reindeer diet, like our other animals at the zoo, that makes sure it has all of their nutritional value condensed into pellet forms or different things like that that we'll give them to make sure that we're reflecting their wild diet, because that's a really important thing to do. And that's why I like to highlight that the apples are a treat, and things like alfalfa and hay are supplementary since they're ruminants rather than being the bulk of their actual food.
Right. Oh, that is so fascinating. So those two meals, the breakfast and the dinner, are pretty much the same meal or the same food.
It'll have similar things mixed in, but we might vary it with giving them different veg mixed in as well.
Okay. Well, so interesting to find out how they go about their day and what is treats and what needs to be done. And, it just came to mind as you were talking about them needing to have what they need for their diet, for their nutrition. Is there someone on staff who is considered more the nutritionist?
Yeah, we're all pretty well trained in nutrition as far as the animals go, but we have the different departments that head up different types of animals, so they make sure that they're well studied on and have all the information on the animals within their department and what their nutritional needs are.
That is so fascinating. And that's the thing about the Cougar Mountain Zoo, is that you are so much about education. So you have staff on hand like yourself, everyone knowing about all the different components and being ready to share it and really make us more aware so that we're sensitive to this and we realize what a special gift we have in our community with having Cougar Mountain Zoo.
Thank you. Yeah, we are, as you know, a not-for-profit, and our mission is education through conservation. So our goal is to, have guests come here and enjoy the zoo and meet the animals. But at the end of the day, we want them going home having learned something, and maybe, they can make different decisions on purchases or things like that they might not have made that better help our animals represented out of the zoo, their wild counterparts. Because ultimately, we want to keep that wildlife wild and healthy and safe, while our animal ambassadors at the zoo help to represent their species and educate people on different matters concerning them.
Right. Yes. Well, it is just such a really important aspect, an important part of our community here in the Puget Sound to have Cougar Mountain Zoo. And here at Warm, we're particularly excited that we have this opportunity each year to celebrate the annual Reindeer Festival in Issaquah. So, yay for us to be able to collaborate and do that. And what year is this that for the Reindeer Festival?
Well, let's see. That is a good question. I want to say this is around 30 years, but I don't actually have a specific date on my calendar right now.
Well, we just know that it's a lot of years, and I know from past years how we've talked about people who make this an annual event so that they did it as children and they're bringing their children. So we see it's definitely been a couple of generations.
Yeah. We started it, I believe, sometime in the 90s. The zoo itself opened back in 1972, and we weren't doing the festival for the first few years, from my understanding, but it has been going on for quite a while now, and it's pretty cool. We get guests, like you said, that come and talk to us about how they've been coming since they were kids, and now they're bringing their kids here, and they have all of these photos throughout the years. Because it's one of the big things, like I said, during the festival is having those Santa photos. So it's really cool to see it as an annual tradition for different families coming to the zoo and getting to celebrate in that way.
Yes, traditions. So it's either something that you've been doing already, but people new to the community, and we know we are continually having an influx of new community members that they're just beginning to discover Cougar Mountain Zoo and the whole area. So this is a time for them to be able to begin the tradition themselves.
Yeah. We always love to have new folks up. It's always great to get to see, when visitors first come for the first time to the zoo and we get to talk to them about the different animals and seeing their eyes light up, just to have this zoo in proximity to them, a little bit more accessible than maybe some other areas. So it's a lot of fun to get to have them come and visit for the first time and, keep coming back because they love it.
Exactly. So let's talk about that, about planning for the Reindeer Festival. Things became more streamlined and to a great advantage, I think, because of COVID. But now this makes it so much easier for visitors, I think. And you need to really pre-register to have a guaranteed admission. Right, Kyla?
That's exactly right, yes. You can go to our website, cougarmountainzoo.org, and pre-purchase your admissions for the Reindeer Festival. Those tickets are live, so you're welcome to get on our website at any time to purchase for the date you would like. They do like to sell out, so I definitely encourage guests who are interested to get looking at their tickets now so that they can guarantee their spot, especially as December progresses. We get a lot busier the closer we get to Christmas.
Right.
So I like to highlight that. But yeah, we want to make sure we're pre-purchasing admission because it's required to guarantee entry to the zoo. Because, walk-ups, we can't say if we're going to be able to have that available or not on any given day.
Now, what you are doing for us is the fact that the zoo during this period leading up to Christmas is open 7 days a week.
That is correct. Yep. We are open 7 days a week when traditionally we are open Wednesday through Sunday. And like I said, those hours are 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on those days. So any day of the week you would like to come, we would love to have you.
Yes. And it really is advantageous, I feel, to prepay and to also know what time slot you're in, because it really, instead of waiting in long lines, having to go through that process, this is your time and you arrive and you're essentially walking through the gate.
Yep, so then all we have to do is check you in and send you on your way into the festival to go and enjoy.
And one of those things, we talked about feeding the wonderful reindeer. The other is having a photo opportunity with Santa in his sleigh. And that, too, is a streamlined situation where we can set a schedule. Is that right?
That is correct, yeah. We are still doing Santa photos out on the stage. Some people might remember when we did them up above by the reindeer. But they'll be out in front and center in the stage, and we've done some different modifications to make the experience a little bit more streamlined so that everybody gets not only the opportunity to meet with Santa, if that's what they're going to do, but, so that they're not having to wait as long in line or anything like that, and they can go and spend more time enjoying the rest of the festival rather than having to spend more time waiting in line. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, yes. It feels like such a win-win to be able to be so organized and maximize your time of being at the zoo.
Exactly, yeah. Our lines have never, we've always done a good job at being pretty efficient there. But it never hurts to even increase that efficiency to make sure that everybody's having the best time that they possibly can and enjoy every aspect of the zoo during the festival, because we also have fun things like story time going on every hour on the hour where our elves, quote unquote, will be reading Christmas stories or holiday stories to the kiddos.
And I think most kids of all ages really look forward to that.
Yeah, they tend to have a fun time, and that tends to be a really big draw, which is very fun.
Looking again at planning our day, getting to the zoo, all that kind of thing, we should mention a really wonderful way to do this is, and it has multiple facets to it, but to have a zoo membership.
Oh, yeah. Zoo memberships are a great way to come and visit the zoo. They're the most economical way to come and visit the zoo. And, even if you come in and purchase your tickets or pre-purchased online and you're not sure, maybe you're thinking about doing a membership, we have vouchers, to take off part of what you spent going in that day to put towards membership.
So think of that as a real great gift. So often these days, gifts are kind of too much stuff. People have a lot of stuff. Do we need more stuff? This, an experience, is probably, the most wonderful kind of gift, because it's like it keeps on giving. If you give a membership to someone and they go to the zoo again in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, then they remember you again. It's just such a great thing.
Yeah. Giving the gift of experience is always a lot of fun, and our membership is a really fun way to do that. If anyone is looking to give a gift for experiences to any loved ones or friends, family members, and that's another opportunity to get to see our animals at various times of the years because things are always changing. Like right now with the reindeer, you'll see them in their beautiful winter coat, and then in the summer when they're growing those antlers, you'll see them looking totally different in their brown velvety summer coat with those antlers in velvet. So, it's a great opportunity, especially for guests that have kids, to kind of teach them about different life stages of animals, how they adapt to different situations in their life histories, which is really cool. And that membership is also good for the Reindeer Festival. So, tickets last year round with that.
So it's just a great win-win. And I think it really helps the zoo in the sense of anticipating some base numbers of visitors that you're going to have and being able to support the ongoing functions of the zoo.
Yeah, like I said, we're a small not-for-profit, so anything that comes in, any funds, goes right back to the animals, getting them all the care and getting them fun enrichments and things like that. It's always a great way to invest money.
Yes, absolutely. And that investment also, besides supporting the zoo, its programs as well, and a really critical one because, as you were mentioning, conservation through education, you do have outreach into the schools, both now in person, but you can reach a lot more of the schools in our state virtually, right?
Yeah, yep. And we definitely do our virtual outreaches and our in-person outreaches, which are always a lot of fun. A great way to get the kids engaged with animals at a more personal level, because it makes them think critically. And I've done a lot of fun things with different schools about critical thinking with zoo animals, with habitat design, with how these animals function out in the wild and differences that you might see at the zoo versus out in the wild, which has been a lot of fun.
Oh, and I'm sure you have really great response to that.
Oh, yeah. The kids really love it. I did a great program on zoo habitat design with one of the local schools, which was a great time for me and for the kids.
So can you give us a snippet of what that was?
Yeah, so the kids came out to visit the zoo, and we did a tour with them, and a couple of the experts on our staff talked about habitat design and how you have to vary that between different species to make sure that it's set up properly for them, what we need to make sure that we have so that they have all the resources they need within said habitats. And then the kids went back to school, and a week later we went to visit, myself and one other staff member, and we got to look at all these different designs that they did, whether it be a 2D drawing or a 3D structure with Legos, to see how they took the information that we gave them and implemented it within their designs to structure habitats for various species that they were looking at.
That is so amazing. I can't imagine a class being more fun and what that means for those kids going forward to have that talk about experiences. That's really so engaging and really challenging them and giving them ideas for their future.
Yeah, and that's at the heart of everything we do. We want to make sure that we're, as much as we're getting from the community, we're giving back as well.
So when you do the school outreaches, is that something that any school can request? Is there some kind of fee associated with it? How does that work?
Yeah, there are typically fees associated with it, and anybody interested can contact us through our website. And then that will go to me, and then I can look at scheduling.
That is so great. Do you find yourself getting requested more and more, I hope?
Yeah, we definitely have seen an uptick. COVID kind of set us back those couple of years, but we're definitely seeing a lot of engagement from the community. And as well as, the outreaches, we have a lot of schools coming in for field trips and fun things like that.
And the ones who come in for field trips, are they typically kind of more the surrounding area or beyond?
Yeah, we'll see a lot locally, but we have seen schools coming out from Enumclaw, from Tacoma. So we will see, a pretty varied amount of schools as far as distance goes. But we definitely see a lot more local, east side schools, which is very fun.
Oh, absolutely. Because again, then hopefully there's word of mouth. Those who experience it tell others, and hopefully there's that way the word spreads, and you get more invitations, or and it might need to be virtual because it's beyond the state lines or across the mountains, and it's harder to access. But I'm glad to know that's happening. It just sounds like an amazing program. But today we want to again just really highlight this very, very special season with the Issaquah Reindeer Festival coming up, and the opportunity to just do something so fun with the family, with extended family, really make it a highlight of this holiday season.
Yeah, it's a great way to come and spend the day, and getting to see all sorts of different things, getting that closer look at the reindeer, participating in story time if you want to hear any fun holiday-themed stories. And then, of course, going to see the big man himself, go up and get Santa photos. But in addition to that, of course, the rest of the zoo is open. We are still a zoo. So you'll get to see all those animals on top of all of those fun extra things that we have going on during festival.
And are some of the other animals involved as well? I mean, obviously it's highlighting the reindeer, but I think in past some of the others have been dubbed, maybe not the elves, but some aspect of Santa's workshop and whole operation up at the North Pole, but relegated to this little satellite area.
Oh, yes, you are definitely right. Each animal participates in this time of year. We have Santa's candy cane tigers. The tigers use those stripes to make sure the candy canes get striped for all the kids. We have Santa's carolers, the wolves, making sure they're singing loud for everyone to hear, like Buddy the Elf talks about. But you can go around to each one of the exhibits, and we have special signs posted for how each animal is participating in this time of year, getting Santa and his sleigh and the reindeer ready for the big day.
Oh, it just sounds so magical. And that kind of magic appeals to any age, but I do really think of our younger kids and the delight, this kind of spark it adds to their whole experience, and just really brightens the time, and really makes them think about this time, and maybe plants the seed for their future. It just feels so exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely a great time. You can feel the magic all around. And like you said, it's really cool to see the kids, their eyes light up while they're coming and enjoying not just the festival, but the animals that we have at the zoo, and having a great time. And magical as well as, those kids who then become adults and are still coming to the festival and talking about when they came as children. It's always really cool and special to hear about that.
Yes. So if this is for anyone a new idea, a new experience, hearing all this opportunity and what it means in terms of future seasons, and actually just what it means for our whole environment and caring for our animals and all that is really natural to our area. Cougar Mountain Zoo, it needs to be a to-do thing for the holiday season. Right, Kyla?
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. So let's again just highlight how to make that happen for our own group of people.
Yeah, so to come out to the festival, you'll want to go onto our website, cougarmountainzoo.org. That's cougarmountainzoo.org. And then you're able to pre-purchase your admissions tickets right there on the website. We make it nice and streamlined and easy. And then all you have to do when you get to the zoo is check in at the admissions window. We'll scan that ticket and send you on in for your merry way.
Couldn't be easier, and promises just such a wonderful, magical opportunity.
Yes, yeah, it's a really fun time, and I look forward to seeing all of our guests out there this year to have a great time with us, getting to see the animals as well as enjoying the festivities that are numerous in the Issaquah Reindeer Festival.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kyla Cain, you really are such a wonderful wealth of information and give us a great picture of what to expect. Thank you for the invitation, and let's make it just the best festival ever.
You got it, Kate. Thank you so much for having me on here again. It was lovely to get to talk to you again and share about the Issaquah Reindeer Festival with you and all of your guests on your show. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you all out here this December.
Exactly. That brings us to the end of a very full hour of Inspirational Women with Kyla Cain and Sunday Morning Magazine with Ryan Scott and Tiffany Sanders. I'm Kate Daniels, your host, and I do greatly appreciate your sharing this hour with me and these special guests. For details you might have missed or information you'd like to know, please just send me an email, kated@warm1069.com, and I will get right back to you. Also, if you'd like to listen again or to share these important stories with your family and friends, find the podcast. It's on our Warm 1069 webpage. Just click on the Listen tab, then Podcast, then either of the show names, and then look for the guest names. I now wish you and your family a day of planning how to make this holiday the best it can be for others, and then realizing how it ends up feeling best for us. Have a week of the same, and then please plan to join me again next weekend for another hour of Sunday Morning Magazine and Inspirational Women on Warm 1069. Good morning and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.